I'm under the impression that I'm speaking about writing about the economy, and I'm an author of books about the economy, and they're all on a specific theme called the divine economy theory. Um, but I wanted to talk to you as authors of people who want to write. And so what I was going to talk to you about was that uh, I think the first thing that everyone who wants to make an impact in the world needs to understand is that they are subjective. And what that means is that no one else has the same life experiences as you do. So you've experienced all kinds of things that are unique. And because they're unique, you have something to share that no one else can share. So that perspective is very valuable and very important. And so as you are out there discovering or hearing about ideas, as they're being processed in your mind, it's something that no one else is able to process in a similar way because you're subjective, because you have that unique experience in life. So that gives you something unique to share. So you should feel confident that that you can say or present something that's probably new to anyone else because they've never had that life experience that you've had. So that's basically an encouragement to you to write because you have something that's valuable to share. Now, the thing about it is everybody is trying to be objective as possible. Okay, so you want to kind of present the information as, in a sense, as accurately as possible, and that's this idea of objectivity. But the only objective truth that we can work with is the fact that humans are subjective. That is an objective truth. So everything then rests back on you as a subjective human being, and you're striving to understand whatever it is that you're focused on as best you can. So there's this quest for objectivity, but it's what at the base of it all is your subjectivity. So like for instance, we're talking about writing about the economy. So a person could be a writer and they could write fiction or they could write nonfiction. And even if they're writing fiction, they probably need to know enough about the economy. So in the fantasy world that they're creating in their fiction writing, where they're introducing things that pertain to the economy, it should be fairly accurate about what the economy is like, because otherwise the person reading it, if they're in this fantasy story and they catch some things that are obviously not thought through properly, then they probably will have less respect for the whole story as a whole. So even a fiction writer should know about the economy if they're writing about it, and anything that has the economy as part of that story. But then if you're writing in a nonfiction way, it's even more obvious that the story, anything that pertains to the economy should be accurate, should really speak about the economy as it really is. So then there's two kind of litmus tests in your search for knowledge about the economy so that you can then write about it. There's two litmus tests. One, a very broad one, a very general one, and that's about economic freedom. So when you're searching for knowledge about the economy so you feel confident to write about it from your subjective point of view, you need to make sure that the literature or the source of the knowledge that you're gaining from recognizes the absolute necessity for economic freedom. So if you were, searching for knowledge about the economy and you run across, say, a book or an article that's talking about the economy and they don't understand economic freedom, don't waste your time. Only focus on the things that are valid economically, and economic freedom is one of those valid points that will guide you to not information that strengthens your knowledge of the economy. The other litmus test that's very important is the idea that when you're reading information about the economy, let's say we found information that acknowledges the value of economic freedom, and you're looking at that material to strengthen your knowledge of the economy. Well, if that source of information doesn't recognize that humans are subjective, then again you should discard it, because humans are subjective. If they treat them in a manner other than that, you're wasting your time. If your goal is to present, again, we're talking about now the nonfiction writer. If your goal is to present in your unique perspective information about the economy, then when you're searching for knowledge, the sources that you're getting, that you're investigating, should speak about the economy and speak about humans as subjective. So I don't know if how many of you are aware of that, but it's really important, because I was just telling you that when you are writing about the economy, what brings value, what gives you the confidence that you have value, is the idea that you've experienced life uniquely, and so your views are simply subjective. So what that testifies to is that humans are subjective. So if you're then looking to gain knowledge about the economy, and the writer or the resource that you're investigating doesn't even acknowledge that humans are subjective, then it can't be of strong value to you as a nonfiction writer about the economy. So those are the two things that I would like for you to realize, is that when you're as a writer about the economy, if you use those two criteria, you'll get to the sources that help you understand the economy. So that needs to talk about economic freedom, and it needs to talk about the subjective nature of humans. So that then enables you to find what will build a nice foundation for you on knowledge of economics, so that you can then filter that through your subjective knowledge as a person that's unique, that has value because it is unique. So the thing is now, because when you're thinking about these ideas and filtering them through your unique perspective, what happens then is you then have a comparative advantage to others, and they have comparative advantage to you because I mean, so if you have a strong, if you build a strong foundation of economic knowledge and you filter it through your subjective thoughts and your unique perspective, then of course that it gives you a comparative advantage because it's uniquely yours. And so that's that. But you know, the thing is, other people can do the same thing, and then they have a comparative advantage. And all that does is it brings more and more perspectives into the world, and that's good. You know, it raises everyone's awareness, because if you share what you know that's uniquely yours and I read it, I've never seen that before. Okay, so I'm gaining as a result of that. I'm gaining knowledge. I'm seeing things differently. And same thing with another person there. If you know, and so that's why, again, you can continue to grow that knowledge of the economy by seeing what other people are saying or hearing what other people are saying. Now, again, if they, as long as they are in meeting that criteria of acknowledging economic freedom and the subjective nature of humans, then that knowledge is going to be valuable to you, and it's going to be from their perspective, and you can use that then to continue to build your knowledge, which then you filter through your subjective thoughts, and you share those, and that's what brings value, and that's what you want to do as an author. You want to build a resource of knowledge, and then and that. So the next thing I was going to say is it's competitive, and it's entrepreneurial. So, and I'm going to go talk about the entrepreneurial part in a second, but it's competitive in the sense that just like an athlete or an adventurer or a musician, who are they competing against ultimately? They're competing against themselves. So, you know, if it turns out this athlete is running a race and they do better than they've ever done before, they may win the race. But even if they don't, they're improving. So they're competing against themselves. So this process of writing and discovering knowledge that builds your foundation of knowledge that you filter through your thoughts, that's competitive. It's entrepreneurial. So it's through this alertness that you're looking for new ideas. You're looking for nuances, and so you're that's where this alertness is. You're constantly, you know, trying to figure things out. Okay, and so this competitive, that's meaning constant. You know, you're doing it always because you're trying to get better, and you're entrepreneurial. You're looking for something, a new twist, a new perspective, something that triggers ideas. So, and you're alert to that. Okay, so that is how you are working with this knowledge base that you're accumulating, that you're using then for your to share to others, so they can gain a better understanding of the economy. So the thing is that when you're doing that, there's ideas that are going to come, okay, and they're ephemeral. They disappear quickly. So my suggestion is, as you're going through this process, when these ideas come, even if you don't really realize, I mean, think of it and you think, well, oh, that's not, you know, exactly where I'm going with what I'm doing. These ephemeral ideas are also foundational for your writing. So when you're doing this competitive alertness about what's going on around, and how what the knowledge that you're gaining, and how you're filtering that through your thoughts, and you're observing how that fits in the world around you. These ideas, these ephemeral ideas are coming, okay? And my suggestion is that you record them, make note of them, because it basically is then part of your unique research. You know, those ideas came from you. I mean, you recognize them, okay? And they were that basically they were discoveries. And as an individual discovery, it may not be, uh, you know, something that uh, is expressed in a complete way at any point. But what it does, though, is it stimulates other ideas, and it helps you uh, be creative as an author. So basically, what I'm saying is, because this is a competitive entrepreneurial experience that you're doing, and because, again, because of your subjectivity, the things that you're processing and the things that you're discovering are unique. And so to honor that, you need to put it in a form where you can revisit, because, like I said, they're ephemeral. If you have an idea, oh, that's kind of cool, or I never thought of that, and then you don't record it, a week later, you might never see it again. It might never come back to you. So you want, as you're doing that, again, this is all part of this building, this knowledge, this foundation of knowledge that you tap into for when you're writing. And we're talking about writing about the economy. So these are all tidbits of economic knowledge that you're accumulating, that you can then, work your way through, and I guess you could play in them, and feel the joy and the excitement and the inquisitiveness of working within all that. Okay, because that's what will make will be what you're pulling together. You're pulling together then to write your whatever you're going to write about on the economy. So the thing is, now all these things are happening, and they're you're in a different place. You're in a different mindset. You have a new understanding that you didn't have before. And so what that basically is saying is that you're transforming. This is a transformative process of you, and you're, as an author, one of the exciting things and one of the things that probably motivates you to be an author is that it's transformative. You're growing. You're gaining confidence. You're feeling certitude. Um, you're feeling that you are creative. But it's all this transformation that's taking place. And the ultimate goal then, again, everything's ephemeral. You might write something, okay? And I most of the time, I don't think an author thinks that they're going to write one thing and never write again. It's possible that might be the case. But even if that is the case, it's a transformative process. You get to the end, you come up with what you actually compose, you write what you intend to write about, and you're transformed as a result, but then what you've produced transforms people. It's transformative in the world. So those two things happening at the same time, this transformation that's happening is part of the process. And so then again, like I said, most of the time, a person, because even if they don't originally plan on writing more than that, because they have this transformative experience, and it's very pleasant. I mean, it's something that they would want to experience again. So then they continue to write. Okay. And so that's a good thing also, because now in that sense, you're more polished. You're more entrepreneurial. You kind of know a little bit better how you want to approach things. And so you're actually it's probably that whole process might, like if you have a beginning and an end, and the end is the composition that you're finishing, the book you're writing, the article you're writing, whatever it is, you've gone through that experience, you've enjoyed it, but you now know, have a positive trail that you followed, that you then can use kind of as a template, or you just can remember how it happened. You rely on that experience, and so the process might even feel like it becomes easier as you continue to write. So I think I was going to be done at that point as far as talking about writing, and I'm open to any questions or thoughts that you have.